I know people are getting ready for summer now. When should they have started? When should they have started their volunteer for their volunteer drive? Just so they have an idea for next year. When should they be starting the volunteer drive for whatever it is they're needing? If it's a big event or whatever.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, because a lot of it has to do with onboarding, right? Like how fast do you onboard, and like I know in our world, my youth pastor and at our church, we're always trying to recruit for fall small group leaders now, and even last month, and so April, May, trying to get them to say yes. In some ways, I don't know. This isn't on purpose, but as I'm talking about this, I'm wondering about it in my head. I wonder if it's even easier for people to say yes now for something that doesn't start in 3 months. You know what I mean? Because our student ministry takes a break during the summer. So I don't know. The reason we do it now is because we don't want to get to August second week and you still don't have, a sixth grade guys, small group leader or something like that. So, but if it was just for summer, if it was for an event, I think it comes down to how long do you need to onboard and train them. I was in a breakout session that Doug Fields led just a few weeks ago at the Orange Conference, speaking of purpose-driven youth ministry, and I thought he had a great answer to a question. I don't even remember the question, but his answer was about onboarding, and his point was, if we like with our normal process, with their normal process, he's still helping at Mariners now. They could onboard a volunteer in like 2 weeks from like application to like serving. But his point was, if you don't feel good about that person, like if there's something weird that give you the heebie-jeebies, I think he said, he's like, I can stretch it out and make it take 6 months. Like you need you to go to that class, you got to be a part of that group, you got to,
Yeah.
And I love
extend the vetting process if you need to.
Yes. Yeah, and even told a story about one time when they did sort of that, and it kept somebody out that was a predator, and so that's really important. But the thing that I liked about how he talked about it is, I don't think you want your normal onboarding process to be 8 weeks. That's how you lose people. Like I sometimes working with church leaders, they'll say, hey, for every 10 people that say yes to serving in student ministry, only about 4 of them actually end up serving. And that's always a red flag for me, because I'm like, really? Because that's kind of low. Like I would think once they say yes, and like in our church, probably 9 out of 10 end up serving. You know what I mean? So that's kind of weird for me to only have 4. So what's happening there? Is the process too long? Is it too complicated? Are we not following up enough? So I am an advocate for a fast onboarding process, as long as we're doing the vetting right. Yes. And we're asking us things. And so if you could vet, if you could get them serving in 2 weeks, and in our world we try to do an apprenticeship where they get apprenticed for another 4 weeks. I mean, 6 weeks would be enough for us to recruit. Now, if it's a small group leader is going to serve all year in the fall, then you probably need to be months out. 3-4 months out is better.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say it sounds pretty standard that you should be recruiting 3 months ahead of whatever it is you're trying to achieve, because you do have to go through that vetting process. You should have that which we're going to get into, that process that you want your volunteers to go through. You don't want to just throw bodies at a situation, especially if you want to carry on with those volunteers and you want to be able to develop them and so forth.